What's up, guys? This is Eric back again for another video. Um, about in October, a little over 2 months ago, I did my first impressions of the LG V20, and I really enjoyed this phone. I've been using it since then, so it's going over a little over 2 months since October 28th when this phone was released, and I'm just going to go over my final thoughts as far as likes and dislikes on this phone. There are more likes than there are dislikes on this phone, so that's a good thing. 2016 has been a very interesting year for smartphones. They all started off with the Galaxy S7 and the S7 Edge. Went on to the HTC 10. We all know about the whole Galaxy Note 7 issue. That phone was probably one of the best phones of the year, but of course it had issues and it all went to hell. And then you have the LG V20 and of course the iPhone 7, if you prefer Apple over Android. This phone has probably been one of the best phones of the year. I've been really pleased with it. I've been using it for, like I said, a little over 2 months, and I'm going to go over the things that I like and the things I'm not too fond of. There's not really a lot of dislikes on this phone. I've been enjoying it a lot. First thing is performance. This phone has kept up as far as being snappy and speedy and handling tasks really well, which is a good thing. Most phones tend to slow down over a couple of months as far as performance wise, especially on Samsung phones. You got the touch wiz, you got all this stuff slowing the phone down. LG skin is pretty thin, so it doesn't really add a lot of lagginess to the system or anything. It may not look the best, but the LG UX, whatever it's called, is pretty light and it sort of has like a stock Android feel on it, which is good. And that also helps that this phone is rocking Android 7.0 Nougat, and it came like that right out of the box, so that's a good thing as far as productivity and performance and stuff like that. I haven't had any issues with this. This phone is still very snappy and does handle everyday tasks pretty well. And you got the multitasking and stuff like that. The notifications that come along with Android Nougat, everything has changed with that. So it's really nice, and I'm not complaining at all. This phone has held up really nice over these last couple of months, and I'm still enjoying this phone. Next thing we're going to go off is the display. It's got a 5.7-inch Quad HD IPS LCD display, and the colors are pretty accurate. They're not as vibrant or as punchy as a Samsung Galaxy phone or an AMOLED screen, but they are still very nice. It's got a natural look. You won't be disappointed. You probably won't even tell the difference, but at high brightness, this phone looks really nice, and I enjoy watching videos on this phone a lot. I like the screen size. It's very big. I like big phones. A lot of people may differ, depending on how size your hand is, but I like big phones. And the display on here is really nice. Not to mention, you also have the secondary display up top, which is also good for controlling your music, shortcuts, recents. And then you got your toggles for your flashlight, your Wi-Fi, your data, stuff like that, and of course your name up top, which is really nice feature. And of course, when the phone is off, you have your always on display, which I really enjoy. It always shows the date, time, and your battery level, and it'll always show your incoming notifications without having to turn on the screen, which is nice. And you could also go to your your toggles and your shortcuts and stuff like that. Let's see, that's the display. Video recording on this is really nice. There's so many settings, especially on manual mode, as far as recording. It's really, you have so many options on recording as far as your microphone and where it goes, and as far as I don't want to record anything right now. As far as taking sound from the front or from the back, you could adjust your gain. You got your autofocus, you got your ISO. I like the autofocus as far as the peaking. It'll green everything out that's in focus. It's got a lot of options on manual mode, and this phone is a beast as far as recording. Um, just regular full HD or HD. It doesn't have to be 4K. At nighttime, this phone really records really nice videos. They're crisp, they're clear. Usually in low light, video won't really show up all that great. It'll be really grainy, but for the rear facing camera, this phone records really nice videos. It's a beast as far as, you know, even audio recording. It has an HD audio app. This phone is meant to record and to be, you know, used for media, you know, listening to music, recording videos, recording audio, whatever you want to do, this phone is meant to do it. Another thing I really like is the audio. This is one of the first phones to come out with a 32-bit quad DAC system, which means there are 4 DACs on here. Each one turns on depending on the quality of music you're listening to. The higher the quality, you know, one of the DACs will turn on. If you have really good quality with high impedance headphones, all of the DACs will be running. If you have regular headphones, say come, you know, with your phone, you're gonna get normal audio mode. There's 3 modes. There's a normal audio mode, there's an external audio mode, and there is a high impedance audio mode. And it all depends on what type of headphones you plug in here. If you plug in your normal, you know, Apple EarPods or whatever, you're gonna probably be on normal audio mode. If you plug it into your auxiliary and your cable in your car, you're gonna be in external, which bumps it up a little bit more. And of course, high impedance is if you have some really good high quality headphones, it's going to bump it up that, and you're going to get amazing sound. I have been able to get high impedance mode in my car, but you have to fiddle with the jack as far as sticking it in really slow and then sort of messing with it. It'll trick it into going in high impedance mode, which is pretty cool, and it sounds amazing, but it's not worth fiddling over every single time, so it's fine. Those are the audio modes for that as well. Battery life on this phone is pretty good. I can get a little close to 2 days, maybe a day and a half depending on usage, but it's got a 3200 milliamp battery with quick charge 3.0, and you have your USB Type-C at the bottom. Another thing is that LG is sticking to, and I guess a lot of phones aren't, but LG is still sticking to it, is you could remove the battery and swap in another one if you got one, and it'll take like less than a minute, probably seconds, to just swap it out. If you're dying, swap it out, you're good to go. And you also have access to your SD card and your SIM card on the back. But I think that also takes away from, as far as ever water resistance on the phone or on the LG phone, you'll never be able to get that with the removable battery. But I guess that's just nitpicking. I mean, I like to have water resistance, especially on the Galaxy phones and the Note 7. It was nice knowing that you're protected, but it's really not that big of an issue. But if they didn't have the removable battery, then it would probably have water resistance. But as far as now, you're not getting it on this, but that's fine. It's not really a big deal as far as, you know, it's not a deal breaker. Now we're going to go on to the things that I'm not too fond of. This phone, there's really not that much that I'm not too fond of. There's more likes than there are dislikes, and I think that's a good thing, because this phone is a really nice phone. We're going to start with the camera. It's got a dual camera system in the back. One's a 16 megapixel for the main camera, and then the other one is a wide angle. I believe it's an 8 megapixel camera. The front is a 5. I wasn't too impressed with the quality on these. They're a lot better on the Samsung phones, of course, especially the front-facing one. In low light, it tends to be really grainy as far as taking pictures and video, and on the back camera as well. It does not really handle low light that well. The pictures come out a little bit washed out. They're not as crisp. The video is a lot better than the pictures. It'll get the job done, but if you're really into that, Samsung does a way better job as far as picture quality and video quality, but I'm not really into this phone for the picture taking. It's sort of like a second thing for me. I'm more into the audio and the audio quality that comes out because I listen to a lot of music. It may differ from, person to person, but as far as picture wise, as long as it takes decent pictures, I'm gonna be okay with it. Like I said, you may think differently. Another thing is the speaker. We've had issues of the speaker being blown over a period of time. It has happened to me. If you listen to your phone a lot at the volume all the way up, the speaker is going to blow. It happened to me, I want to say maybe 2 weeks ago. I've had my phone replaced through warranty. It might have to do something with, I think I heard somebody say it has to do with something with the software related issue. Sprint has released an update for their Lg V20 that takes care of that issue. It has to do something with the power going to that speaker is too high, so they adjusted it, and hopefully everybody else gets that update soon, because I don't want to have that issue happen to me again in another 2 months. Build quality. LG did not really do anything special with the build quality on this phone. I think the Lg V10 was a lot nicer looking and more different as far as quality. It had those steel rails on the side and a rubber back. It looked really, really cool. On the Lg V20, they decided to, I guess, play it safe. There's really nothing head turning about this phone. I like that it's thin, but as far as design wise, it looks like a premium phone because of the metal back. It definitely adds a little bit of a premium feel to it, but once you take that back off, this phone is really, really light and flimsy. Take the battery out, this phone is paper light. It's like really, really, really light, and I feel like it could be broken if you bend it the wrong way. But once you add everything on, it's a nice phone. It's got a little bit of weight to it. The design is nice. It's simple. It's clean. Like I said, it's not going to turn any heads like a Samsung phone would, with the glass on glass, front and back. So, but other than that, it's still good. Another issue I have is the volume rockers. They're a little too small and a little too close together. I found myself wanting to turn the music up, especially if you have a case on it, and end up just turning it down because they're so close together. Other than that, I really don't have any issues with it. The fingerprint sensor is in a good position. It's on the back, really easy to get to. The speaker at the bottom, it's decent, as far as positioning. I don't have any problems with that. At top you have your IR blaster. Everything else about the phone is nice. It's just those little things, and it's really not that big of a deal for me. Lg V20 has probably been one of the best phones of 2016. And I think it's still one of the best phones now. May not last that long, but I also think that LG sort of dropped the ball on, I guess, hardware and timing. I mean, this phone came out in October, which is a little late in the year, and it has the Snapdragon 820. Well, later on that year, we got the Google Pixel, which has the 821. A lot of phones are coming out with the 821. And then in a couple of months, we're going to have Samsung with the 835 processor, and that's sort of going to leave this phone back in the dust, which hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully this phone, with updates and everything, it could still compete with all these other phones, and hopefully it doesn't get, hopefully it doesn't get left behind as far as the processor wise. That's another thing, LG should have stepped it up as far as including a newer processor if you're going to come out so late in the year, but that's just my opinion. I mean, the LG V20 is a really, really nice phone. If you have not gotten one, I suggest maybe you should get one, or maybe wait a little bit, till it goes cheaper, but I think it's worth it. This still is one of the best phones of 2016, and it'll hold its own for a while. If you like recording, if you like audio, this phone is a media beast as far as all of that goes. You got your removable battery and everything. It's a really versatile phone, and I've enjoyed it. And those are my final thoughts on the LG V20. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up. If you got any questions, comment below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.